Immortal. The Death Cure. Can Aging Be Reversed? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Immortal series. If you've ever wondered whether death is just a natural endpoint or a solvable condition, then this video is for you. Because right now, leading scientists, venture capitalists, and billionaires are pouring enormous resources into a single goal: to cure death. Not delay it, not avoid it, cure it. And today, we're going to break down how they're trying to do that, what's working, and why this isn't science fiction. It's the most serious medical pursuit of the century. Let's begin by challenging the idea that death is natural. That concept has been deeply embedded in cultural, spiritual, and biological narratives for centuries. But what if death, at least biological death, isn't a sacred inevitability? What if it's simply a disease of cellular degradation? That's the premise behind the anti-aging science movement. These researchers don't see death as fate. They see it as a mechanical failure, the end result of entropy, mutation, and the gradual collapse of regenerative systems. And that's where the science begins. At the center of this field is something called senescence. Senescent cells are cells that have stopped dividing but don't die. They linger, they malfunction, and they send out inflammatory signals that damage surrounding tissue. Scientists now believe these cells are one of the key drivers of aging. They've been linked to everything from arthritis to cancer to Alzheimer's. Think of them as zombie cells, still alive, but biologically toxic. Enter senolytics, a class of experimental drugs designed to target and eliminate these problem cells. Studies in mice have shown that flushing out senescent cells can restore function, increase lifespan, and reverse symptoms of age-related decline. Some researchers believe senolytics could be the first real anti-aging drug humans take, not just to feel better, but to age backward. Then there's telomere therapy. Telomeres are the protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes. Every time a cell divides, its telomeres get shorter. When they become too short, the cell stops functioning or dies. This shortening has been dubbed the molecular clock of aging. Scientists are experimenting with ways to lengthen telomeres, using an enzyme called telomerase to reset that clock. Some early trials show promise. Others raise concerns about potential cancer risk. But either way, the idea is simple: reverse the biological timer, and you might reverse aging itself. Another major frontier is epigenetics, the study of how gene expression changes over time, often due to lifestyle, environment, or trauma. You're not born with aging on. It's switched on gradually through chemical signals that silence or activate specific genes. And researchers are now working to reprogram those epigenetic markers, returning cells to a more youthful state. This process, called partial cellular reprogramming, has already been tested in mice, restoring muscle function, vision, and even organ resilience. Human trials are on the horizon. Let's zoom out. All of these therapies, senolytics, telomerase, epigenetic reprogramming, they don't treat symptoms. They treat the underlying process of aging. And this marks a revolutionary shift in medicine. Traditional medicine reacts to disease. Longevity science prevents it by restoring biological youth. And if youth can be restored, death becomes negotiable, which brings us to the companies driving this revolution. At the top of the list is Altos Labs, a longevity company backed by billions in funding from Silicon Valley and beyond. Their mission? Cellular rejuvenation at scale. They've hired dozens of Nobel laureates and top-tier scientists, many of whom believe biological immortality is within reach, not in 100 years, but possibly in our lifetime. Then there's Calico, short for California Life Company, a Google-funded biotech lab focused entirely on extending human lifespan. With backing from Google's parent company Alphabet, Calico has near unlimited resources and is already running animal trials to extend healthy living by decades. Other players include Unity Biotechnology, focused on senolytics, Sense Research Foundation, founded by Aubrey de Grey, with a roadmap to defeat the 7 causes of aging, and Life Biosciences, working on mitochondrial restoration and cellular repair. But here's the kicker. These aren't just academic exercises. They are massive, for-profit enterprises, with the express goal of turning anti-aging into a trillion-dollar industry. Imagine it. What if, instead of treating arthritis, you reversed it? What if, instead of managing dementia, you undid the neurological aging that causes it? The implications would shake medicine, economics, retirement planning, population structures, everything. Of course, this opens a floodgate of questions. First, who gets access? If a treatment can extend life by 30, 50, or 100 years, who decides who gets it? Will it be reserved for the ultra-rich? Will it be gatekept through patents and exclusivity deals? Or will governments see it as a basic right? Second, what happens to death culture? If people stop dying, how do we process grief, legacy, inheritance? We've already discussed this in other series, how grief tech and resurrection simulation are changing the emotional terrain. But if people never die in the first place, the need for memorializing may vanish. Will society lose its reverence for mortality entirely? Third, what's the cost of defying death? And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about soul integrity. There's a line between healing and manipulating, between restoration and redesign. And that's the line we must walk carefully. Because here's the deeper truth. Curing death might be possible, but should it be? Some ancient traditions teach that death is not the end. It's a sacred return, a soul retrieval, a cosmic recycling. Interfering with that process too deeply, too arrogantly, may create ripple effects we can't anticipate. What happens if someone is biologically alive but spiritually unfinished? What if we're extending life but not purpose? And yet, we can't ignore the momentum. You are not living in the past. You are living in a moment where death is being openly targeted. And that changes everything. Schools will change. Insurance policies will change. Relationships will change. And perhaps most importantly, your decisions must change. What does it mean to plan a life if there is no end anymore? How do you define urgency? How do you measure time? How do you build legacy? This is the Death Cure. And this is only the beginning. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.